"76 old bones lead the big parade. 76 old bones lead the big parade." Ooh, ooh. Now, do y'all want to know how many people I don't feel like a little old lady with? None. Not a single one. So they called it the Rebirth. Oh. And I thought, well, good, because all my life I've seen the ending. A rebirth would be nice for a change. Oh, my husband, Max Jr., even though he wasn't that much of a junior. In fact, if you could just see him in the private places. Oh, well, he died, just up and died, sleeping peacefully one night. So peacefully, I didn't notice there was no more air coming out of that big and hairy nose of his. What a panic. My mother's death was quiet too. On the outside. Not so much on the inside. Cancer. I thought my parents would never die. Says the old gray-haired lady, which I never thought would turn gray. Youth. According to the CDC government databases, the average age of death in the United States is 78 years old. Now, imagine that you're 76. Would you run away from death? Or would you embrace your last few years? Well, through mild comedy and interstellar thoughts, we are taught that death is inevitable. But it's the moments before that truly counts. As Hans Christian Andersen once said, enjoy life, because there's plenty of time to be dead. Rebirth by Lisa Solland. I'm 76 years old. 76 old bones. And I don't know how it happened either. I lost track of the last 50 years. Like the 50 pounds my mother lost before she left me. I mean, where does it all go? The 50 years, the 50 pounds. Where did she go? It's kind of like light. When it's dark, where does the light go? Well, these 76 old bones can tell you through experience. When it's dark here, it's always light somewhere else. I've always been afraid of death because I'll be last. And when you're last, you don't know nobody no more. I mean, their spirits has moved on, and you read the books. They say you go through some deep and dark tunnel. And then you are immersed in this bright white light. But what if there's no one waiting for me no more? I mean, it's been so long, I expect the spirits would have moved on by now. Sometimes I like to imagine that my mother's there, and she's wearing her calico apron, telling me to soak my grape nuts before you eat them. And then I wonder about Max. You know, in my breathwork sessions, I become a star in the night sky, and that's when I realized that's what we are. We are just stars floating through this great unknown. And after I realized that, I felt so at peace. And I realized that's what Max's death was. Just him floating into expansiveness. From his big and hairy nose to the sky in one short breath. I guess that's kind of scary if you're not ready for it. You know, and after my tour of stars, my mind seemed to be settled on this one particular incident that happened to me in real life when I was just 9 years old. You see, I used to love to climb this one particular tree down by the farmhouse. Oh, yes. It was a walnut tree. Ooh, and it was very tall. You see, now one day as I was climbing this particular tree, I noticed there was a teeny tiny crack in a spot that mattered. I was about a good 50 feet above the ground. Now this is the part I didn't remember until my breathwork sessions. But I knew I was gonna hit that ground and I was gonna hit it hard. So I left. I left my body. And as soon as I made that instantaneous decision, I reached my hands up towards the sky. And there was my father, leaning towards the heavens. I hadn't seen him in years. He died of liver disease when I was just 3 years old. But there he was, catching me mid-fall. I remember crying because my daddy was lit up like a candle on Christmas. He held me real tight. Then he pointed at my physical body that lay before us. He said, "You got a long life ahead of you. Are you ready for it?" I held on one last time. And next thing you know, I'm waking up from the ground with the splitting headache that could have killed a plow horse. My mother died later that same month. And I realized that same light that was surrounding my father is going to lead me down that tunnel. But not because I'm going to fall from any more trees, but because I'm going to... But because I'm going to die. And as much positive thinking, I'm still gonna die. Not soon, however. You know, part of me thinks it sucks. And the other part of me has come to accept it. I battle between these thoughts a good 76 times a day. 76 old bow. And as much of these breathwork sessions I've come to, the more I've come to accept it. And that's my truth. That's my true blessing. Mm-hmm.